Hi everyone, Stepan here. Today I'm going to play another training game and I'm out here in the lobby trying to find a high rated game. Here's one actually, 25 minutes. He's 1885, so that's... now it's gone. How can I join the game? I've never done this before. Yeah, it's gone now. Okay, 14 plus 3. Once again, if I don't find the game quickly, I'm going to... Okay, this one I want to play. Okay, so he's 21-33 and we are playing a 30-minute game, so that's perfect. Okay, we have a game going, so I'm going to play d5. So great, I got a high-rated opponent and a longer time control. Let's hope it's a good game and let's hope it's good practice for the tournament. As always, let me know what you think about the game after the game. I really appreciate your comments. And let's see what happens. So knight f3 is the main move. I usually go for the semi-Slav. I've been playing and practicing the Grunfeld recently, so I might try that out. Okay, this is slightly rarer, but still after this knight f3, knight c3 should be his moves. Just going to continue normally with knight f6. Don't want to waste time unless it's necessary. Yeah, so now I can play e6, and he probably has to play knight f3, so we have the same position. After which I play knight b to d7. Or I can play bishop f5, which should be a more accurate move. And then after queen b3, queen b6, he has those ideas of c5 and trying to play b4, b5 quickly. So I'm not sure if I want to get into that. Bishop f5, queen b3, queen b6, c5, queen takes queen, pawn takes queen. And I'm still e6, bishop e7, knight b d7, castles 4 moves away from castling, so that means that he can disrupt my play. So, but I don't have to exchange the queens. Maybe after bishop f5, queen b3, I could play queen to d7, because then my d5 pawn is protected 3 times and my b7 pawn is protected as well. I don't know if that's risky or not. Then I'm probably running into bishop b5 in some positions, takes, bishop b5, and then I have knight c6. So okay, bishop f5, queen b3, queen to d7, takes, bishop b5, knight c6. So it should be fine. I'm not sure though, but I don't want to play e6. Seems like I would be missing an opportunity to develop my bishop before getting into the complications of the semi-Slav. But it's always risky to develop your bishop when there are problems on this diagonal. Perhaps queen b6 is more precise actually, because then after... Oh, he didn't go for that, so I'm fairly happy now. So now perhaps I can play e6 and give up the bishop if he plays knight h5. I don't really mind that. And after e6, queen b3, queen b6, c5 takes, bishop e7, b4, castles. I'm still not in time. But I'm going to play it anyway, because now after queen b6, c5 I can play queen c7, so it should be fine. Because my my d pawn is defended some more and it should be fine. I'm just going to move this slightly so that you can see my time. Okay. It's not such a quick game, so the seconds won't matter too much. Okay, so he took. Now I should take with the e-pawn, otherwise this diagonal is weak, as I said. So yeah, I'm going to take with the e-pawn. Now he can go for a minority attack. This is now a normal Queen's Gambit declined Carlsbad pawn structure with the possibility of a minority attack on the queen side for him, which I'm not too thrilled about because he is a strong player, so he's probably going to know about that plan. But so now after he plays bishop e2 or bishop d3, he can castle and go a3, rook b1, b4 and undermine my c6 pawn, making it a permanent weakness, and then ideally getting the knight into c5. So develop normally. Bishop d6 seems more sensible than bishop e7 in this position. Seems more active. Now if he plays knight h5, I might retreat to e6, not give up my bishop. My bishop is very good controlling the b1 square, sort of stopping the minority attack for now. I would really like to get in h6 and castles. I think I might play h6 now, just to make sure that I don't have to move my bishop away from the diagonal. I'm not in such a big hurry to castle. I think my dark squared bishop is better than his. My light squared bishop is also better than his. My b8 knight is definitely worse than the c3 knight. But all in all, I think this should be an equal position. He is a tempo up in development because I played h6. But I feel like my bishop on e6 would be a bad piece. So I guess h6 was justified. We're going to see. I'm going to analyze the game with an engine briefly after I finish. This move surprises me because I played h6 specifically because of knight h4. But still, fine. I mean, his knight is now slightly misplaced and I have some tactics with knight e5. So we will see. I think knight h4 was a mistake because I played h6. He could have played it a move earlier instead of bishop to e2. So bishop d6, knight h4, and then I would have to play bishop e6. Yeah, now you could argue whether my bishop was better on f5 or on h7, but I got a tempo, so I don't really mind my bishop being on h7. I'm just going to develop my knight. Don't want to castle before he does because there could be an attack. Because of the h6 pawn, he could just go for g4, g5. So I want to see him castle. He has one more waiting move, I guess, rook c1, but I can play rook c8. I have to learn to be patient in positions where castling isn't necessary. I lost one game 4 weeks ago in the league where I castled and it wasn't necessary. It actually cost me the game. He could play queen b3, but I'm just going to play queen b6. Okay, castles, now I'm happy. Now I can castle. And knight bd7 wasn't a wasted move, it was a necessary move. Now I'm thinking about knight e5, and if he captures, taking with the pawn, of course, misplacing the f3 knight, and then sacrificing here queen h5 and queen h4 and just going for an attack. So knight e5 is my plan now. Okay, I don't want to exchange the queens, but if I don't, then he might win my pawn. And I really don't want to exchange the queens because of knight e5, because once he takes and takes here, then his knight moves here, and I have a very strong attack coming in. So I want to keep the queens on the board. So I think rook b8 is... I mean, if I play rook b8, queen b3 wasn't such a useful move. And I think that considering the circumstances, it's fine. It's not the best move. The rook is better on c8, but unless he moves the queen, he's never going to be able to play b4, b5, undermining c6, so rook b8 is an okay move. Okay, now I will continue with my plan. Because my dark squared bishop is a great piece, and my queen is coming in, the other knight is coming in, my rook can perhaps come into the game. All of his pieces, the bishop, knight, queen, and the rook are away from the defense. The f1 rook is helping somewhat, but not that much. And this bishop doesn't really help defend the squares around the king either. So if he takes, I think that I'm going to have an advantage. If he doesn't take, I'm not sure if I want to take the bishop because it's such a passive piece. So for now, I might just develop my other knight. Now my knights are better than his knights. And now if he takes, I might even... No, I'm still going to take with the pawn because then I have the Greek gift. So knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, knight e1, bishop h2, king h2, knight g4 check, and yeah, he has to play king g3, and then I'll probably continue. Okay, I'm surprised with this decision. I'm very happy this happened. Now I actually get to calculate the Greek gift, and sorry in advance, this might take a lot of time. Oh, he stopped it. Come on. Yeah, I'm not too happy about this. Okay. This was probably the best move, and he's also on f7 now, so I think I need to get rid of this knight. So okay, let's just play queen to e7. Seems like the safest option. If he plays knight c4, then I think still bishop h2 check. No, but yeah, the bishop is defending g5. So I'm not too sure about that. If he plays knight c4, maybe knight d5. I still think my pieces are better. Definitely his dark squared bishop is not a good piece. I have to be careful about bishop b4, winning my exchange. Yeah, so now I think I have to play knight d5, otherwise he can takes, and bishop here. Boom. So yeah, I have to give up my dark squared bishop, but what can you do? His bishop is still passive. I really want to get bishop c7 now if he doesn't take, but I doubt that he will leave my bishop alone. What can you do? Okay, his bishop is still a bad piece. I don't think I can allow him to take now, because if he takes, so bishop takes, pawn takes, rook c5, and I'm in trouble. So I should move my knight, I think. Even though there's pressure on f7, I think I should be moving my knight. d5 looks nice, but... Or perhaps I can defend with rook to d8, so bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes, and then I'm still playing against his bishop, sort of. And if he takes here, if I take with the pawn, he still has bishop b4. So I think rook d8, rook f to d8 is a normal move. I get away from the skewer, and I defend here. I don't really want to take with the pawn, because as I said, rook c5 is a good move. So rook d8. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Now I'm just going to continue with rook d7 and defend f7, and then I can move the knight if he allows me to do that. Okay, so going for the minority attack now. Fair enough. I could play a6 when this happens. My bishop is not active, so I really want to activate it somehow. And I might even continue opening up his kingside with h5, h4, h3. But I think it's too slow. Might transfer my bishop from f5 here. That seems like a good move, defending the diagonal. Yeah, that's probably a good plan, because my bishop is a passive piece, so that seems logical. b4, bishop b4 is not a threat, bishop takes d5 is not a threat. Because if I take with the queen, rook c5, I can take the queen for free, so he cannot play rook c5. If he takes, and then rook c5, I can play rook b to d8, defending. I don't have to exchange. So I think once I transfer my bishop, yeah, okay, so we're going for this variation, I guess. I have to take with the queen, otherwise rook c5. And now he's coming in with a minority attack, but after b4 I can play a6. And I think I have sufficient defense, because my rook will be defending b5. I mean, worst case, I can also transfer my bishop to defend b5. Doesn't seem like such a big deal. He might move the queen and then play rook c5, but I think I'm just going... If he moves the queen, I'm going to play bishop e6 to put the bishop on the better square, to make sure it's not skewered with rook c5, so then I can move my queen to the dark squares. Probably here, and then if bishop b4 I can go... Yeah, it seems awkward. Perhaps I have to play queen d7 there. I'm not sure. But once I get my bishop into d5, then everything is perfectly defended. Yeah, okay. Moving the queen, and now I guess if bishop b4, I'm going to play bishop e6, definitely. And now he cannot play rook c5 because he blocked it with the queen. So now my bishop is better. He's going to play b4, probably, or bishop b4. b4 is more likely. And then a6. If a4, I'm just going to ignore that because everything is defended. I might even move my queen somewhere like g5 or h5, and g5 threatening bishop h3, and then play rook d5. So now he wants to defend, and I to exchange. I'm sorry, and I think I have to exchange because otherwise my pawn is hanging. No, I mean I don't have to take. I either have to move the pawn or take. So I'm just going to play a6. If he plays bishop a5, then I'm going to play rook to d7. I'm not going to capture. I want to get my rook into d5 if possible. Seems fairly equal now. I actually don't see a way to get an advantage. So queen c5, rook c5 would be a mistake. I should perhaps try to double up my rooks and just play rook d7. It seems like a useful move, getting my rook off of the dark squares. And then if queen a7, then queen a7 is threatened. So rook d7, queen a7, and when I move my rook to d8, then rook c5, forcing me to play queen b3 or queen a2, which wouldn't be good. So maybe I should just exchange. I don't want to allow queen a7. I mean, he has three ways to take, but whichever way he takes, my pawns are on light squares, which means that his bishop doesn't have targets. So now even if I play rook d5, takes, I think it's just a draw. I think I should keep his rook out of my 5th rank and just... Since I don't see a way to get an advantage, I shouldn't really get a worse position just by trying to force the issue somehow. I do have a space advantage because of my e4 pawn, which is nice, but that's basically it. His pieces are more active than mine, so it should be equal. And I'm really not a big fan of positions like this one. It's just boring to play opposite colored bishops. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a draw. Both sides can make horrible mistakes, but with correct play it should be a draw. Yeah. So now, if I take with the pawn, he's going to play rook here, and then I'm going to play rook here. And it will probably be a draw, but my pawn will be weak here, so I want to take with the bishop. I don't want to have a backward, a weak backward d5 pawn, definitely. Now I do have a plan of f5, g5, f4. That's one plan. He doesn't have a single plan, which is good. He's stopping that immediately, but I'm still going to continue, I think. Going to play king f7, rook h8, g5 takes, king g6, and try to get something going on the king side. My bishop is perfectly placed for f4 because after takes, I have e3 in some positions and eyeing the g2 pawn. So I'm not saying that I'm better, I'm saying that I see a plan, which might not be a good plan, but it's a plan. I don't see a plan for him. If he plays f4, and I was considering that, I'm going to take en passant, and yeah, he doesn't really have anything here, because even if he does play b5, I can take, and even if he captures here, on c6, I'm going to take with my b7 pawn and have an open rook, so this is basically nothing. He can play bishop d6, but once he gets his bishop to e5, no problems for me there. If I get all of my pawns to the opposite colored squares, then he will have no targets. Now the question is c8 or h8. Yeah, I'm going to put my rook on h8 because I want to play g5. Now the risk I'm running into is bishop e5, then I have to play rook h7, but after g5 I still have my rook on the open file, which is nicer, and I don't really want to keep my rook on c8 for no purpose at all. Maybe rook a8 is also a plan, because that indirectly stops b4, b5, because then I would have the open file, but who knows. These equal positions are, in my experience, easy to mess up, so I should probably think more, but I think that this plan is correct. Bishop e5, rook h7, and then going for g5. Yeah, but okay. So here takes. Okay, let's say the pawn is on h4, on a4 already. So here takes. If I do nothing, he's going to take. I'm going to take probably with the bishop, and then I have a pawn on b7 and bishop here, and these three pawns are not on the board. So he has activity on the a file, but it's going to take him 3 more moves. And if I play g5 now, then I can always transfer my rook back, and we are going to be going back and forth from h8 and a8. So I think since he didn't play bishop e5, I have time to play g5 now. If he plays bishop e5 now, I'm actually going to play rook a8. The problem with g5 before that was that I couldn't play king to g3 because my pawn was on king to g6 because my pawn was on g7. But now with bishop e5, okay, he's closing things down. Yeah, now I think it's a draw, because my king is always going to be able to defend around here, and I can actually try to put pressure on h4 now. Just I'm going to transfer my rook to a8 with the plan of king g8, bishop f7. I think that's the correct plan, and I might even after a4 play b5 just to close everything down, and then I always have a target on h4. This actually might be the best idea. So a4, b5. If he opens up the position, I have the a file. If he closes it down, then I'm going to play king g1 to make sure I'm defending, king g8 to make sure I'm defending g7. Okay, what's this about? He's stopping a5. But I think I can force through a5. I mean, I can always play b6, but I'm not sure I want to play b6. Yeah, I want to play b6, because now b6, rook moves b5, and then I'm playing a5 for free, or winning h4. So okay, b6, rook somewhere, b5. He cannot break through on the queen side. I have the a5 break, which he's probably going to stop with the bishop, and yeah, but it's going to be really hard to play bishop f7 when c6 is hanging. Well, what can you do? Then I'm going to play on the a file, so I'm not too unhappy. If he stops it with bishop c7, then it's just a draw. Neither side can break through. I think it's the best plan though. It's okay. b6, not a5 of course, because he can play b5, and that would be just winning for him, I think. But b5. Now I am expecting bishop c7. Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't have to defend my pawn with the bishop. I can always play rook c8, king g8, bishop f7. Okay, so rook c8 with tempo. And now I don't even have to play king g8 because his bishop cannot enter g7. Unless he moves the bishop back to e5, then I have to play king g8. And my next move is bishop f7. And I think I'm about to win a pawn. I don't see how he defends that. So, okay, where's my king best? I have f6. I have e8. I have g8. These two squares will be with check by the bishop if I'm not careful. So either f6, e8 or g8. f6 is the most active, and after king f6, what does he do about bishop f7? If he plays g5, I take it. If he plays f3, I take it. So f6 seems like the best move because then my king is also defending f4. So I'm going to play that. Yeah. And now bishop f7. The problem, another problem was if I'm not defending f4, then his rook on c5 can actually harass f4. So now after bishop here, my f4 pawn is defended. Yeah, I don't think there's time for that. I'm expecting rook c5, but and if rook h8, I mean, I do have to play king g6, so my bishop is passive, but I'm not sure that's a big deal. My bishop is passive as long as his rook is passive. Okay, this move I expected actually, but I was looking at bishop e8. So what's wrong with bishop e8? I think I'm defending everything. Yeah, I'm just going to play bishop e8. Don't see a big deal about that. If bishop d4 check, king g6, and in time, let's hope I'm going to be able to break through on the king side. And another thing is that once I play bishop d7, I can actually take on d5 because my rook is defended. And I have to say d5 was a risky move. I mean, it does look nice, but since I can defend, now this pawn is really close to being captured. I mean, once I play king to e5, his d5 pawn is under attack. If he plays rook h8, then I can rook h1, I can simply play h5, and my e8 bishop is defending the pawn. So I think I'm just a pawn up. Don't really see any compensation for him. And also now if bishop d4, king e7, bishop g7, I can also play h5. So I think I'm keeping my extra pawn, which is really nice. And I have 6 extra minutes. So okay, I was looking at king e7 because that's the most active move. I should, however, be careful. Yeah, but everything seems defended. So let's see. King e7, bishop g7, h5. He can play bishop h6. And then once I play g4, he can play king f5, entering the position. So it's not that simple. I can't really move my pawn to g4, and I'm going to have to, okay, king e7, bishop f7, h6, h5, bishop h6. I have to play g5, otherwise I lose a pawn, and then king f5, entering the position into e5, and then I would be losing. So I should probably keep my king on g6. I just continue slowly with bishop d7 and take the pawn. If king g6, rook c5, still bishop d7. Yeah, I think king g6 is correct. I don't really want to allow any mischief and his king entering, not f5, I'm sorry, I get the notation wrong sometimes, but his king entering f4 and d5 would be just devastating. This is, I guess, a good move, but I don't have to react. I can just leave this. Yeah, I obviously I cannot take, so I'm just going to play bishop d7, threatening to take on d5. Now, I think he has to take. If he doesn't take, my position is safe. If he plays d6, yeah, okay. If he plays d6, then my rook is free. So now how do I activate things? I want to play rook h8, but I can't play that. So maybe rook f7, rook f8, rook f7, rook h7. That seems like a good plan. Okay, so I'm expecting either rook c5 or rook h8. Probably rook h8. The thing is, if he ever takes and I recapture, when my rook is on the f-file, I'm also threatening to play f4. And that would create a winning past e-pawn. Okay, I don't know about this move. Why did he play rook d1? I don't understand rook d1. I don't understand rook d1. What is rook d1? Why rook d1? Defending d6, but how do I attack d6? Doesn't make any sense, this move. I'm just going to continue with my own plan because I can't see what he's doing. He can never get into my position. The two key squares are defended, so he cannot hurt my king in any way. And when I get my rook to h7, he's probably going to take on g5, and I'm going to take with the pawn. And I'm going to have the h-file. So I don't think it's winning yet, but I think it might be close to winning. What is he, just repeating moves? Why? He can never sacrifice the rook on c6 because when I take with the bishop is defending d7. So there are no breakthroughs there. And even if he plays rook c5, rook e5, my bishop is still defending this square, my rook is defending e7, and my bishop is defending e8. So basically every single one of the key squares are defended for now. The problem is, if I play h5, he is then going to take yeah, okay, so this is a nice position. So h5, f takes. Oh, I think I might have disconnected. Wait, I'm actually sharing a network on my phone and I have disconnected. Wait. I hope I don't get just whatever is the word disqualified or something. Network error. Reconnect me. Okay, reconnected. Sorry about that. So okay, if I play h5, pawn takes, then I have this check on h4, which is annoying, and he has to go back. If he goes here, then I can push through a check here, perhaps create a passed pawn. So I'm going to go for that. I'm going to play this check on h4. Or maybe just just recapture. If he doesn't take, then h4 is, I think, much better for me, because I'm going to be able to create a passed pawn. And everything is on a light square, so I'm very happy. And I think he should have taken. So okay, let's see. Rook e6 is not a threat. Rook e7 is not a threat. Rook e8 is not a threat. So I'm just going to check him here. h4, king here, check here. And then I'm going to push through a passed pawn. So I don't see a problem with that. I think I'm going to be creating a passed pawn. I'm having connection issues. As you can see, my move wasn't recognized for about 30 seconds. Hope I managed to finish the game. And for all of you who were wondering why I'm not recording, this is why I'm not recording. My internet connection sucks and my laptop sucks, and I really need to buy new equipment and get a better connection. So okay, the sensible continuation, trying to create a passed pawn, and I think I'm going to get a passed pawn. I mean, I don't see what he does. I'm going to have a passed pawn, and now that he stuck his rook here, then it's going to take him 1-2 moves to get it back. So rook c5 I would expect is the best move now. Because I even have time to play yeah, g3 might be the best move. g3 with the plan of king h5, king g4, and g3 check, king g5, king h5, king g4. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to play that. It just seems crushing because everything is defended here, so just marching my king up the board and then playing h3. So he wants to play bishop d8 and then rook e7. So takes, but it's still defended. I mean, e8 is defended, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm just going to continue with my own plan. It's a pretty crude plan, but I mean, it should be effective. King g4, h3. And I have a king and pawn ending with the opposition, so I should win. Get my king into f3 and probably take e3 or just queen my pawn. And my king is much better than his. I'm playing a king up. His king is stuck on g1. My king is a monster once it gets to g4. And if he doesn't take on h3, then I'm not going to push with h2. Just drawing the game probably. I'm going to take on g2. And then when he takes, rook h2 check. And threaten mate. I think this game is now winning. I'm not sure. I'm going to check with an engine, but I'm not sure he can do anything now. Yeah, this just isn't a good move. I'm just continuing with my plan. I don't really care. And yeah, my move didn't get... I'm disconnected again. Can you see this? Nothing is happening, so... I keep getting disconnected. This is frustrating. Okay. So I don't understand what this is about. I obviously have to take, but he can't make any progress as long as I have my bishop there. And I'm disconnected again. Oh, come on. Okay, let's think now. The rook exchange actually helps his cause in the defense. So if I play h3 now, can I actually win the position? So I'm looking at bishop here, and bishop here check. If he captures, that might be my best chance to win, because I need to move away from e8 with tempo. Otherwise he's going to queen. So I'm going to play h3 because I would have played it anyway at some point. God, I just hope I manage to win the game. My connection is just rubbish. I'm getting disconnected every 5 seconds. Yeah, I'm starting to think that it's a draw because it's now an opposite colored bishop ending. So I misjudged the position. The rook exchange actually killed my chances. And he offers me a draw. Yeah, because there's no way for me to force his king out of g1. So if I take yeah, this is probably a draw, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think I can do much. I'm looking at king f3, but still after king f3 he can always play bishop b6. And then I have to play bishop e8, covering h5 and e8. It's really frustrating to draw this game. I thought I was going to win. If I take on h3, I don't see any way. I'm trying to find some tricks with c5 or a5. So c5 is undefended. I can get his pawn here, but I can never create a passed pawn here because I can never push a5. His bishop is always defending. It's frustrating. I'm just going to accept a draw. I think it's a draw. So yeah, I'm disconnected, so I'm not... What do I do now? How do I accept a draw? Yeah, for some... Okay, help me out here. I'm trying to accept a draw and it's not... I've tried to offer a draw. So I can't do anything basically. My... okay, so now I managed. Yeah, let's see it on the analysis board. So okay, just bring this thing back. So let's see, c6, e3, knight f6, knight c3. Yeah, e6 is correct. After bishop f5 I think queen b3. So I was worried about queen b3 and queen b6, and I was worried about c5. Then takes, and this plan with b4, b5. So here b4, bishop here b5. And I always... I mean, I hate playing positions like this. I don't expect b6, I'm expecting this, and then b7 is a weakness. But the engine likes black here, so what do I know? Knight f3, e6, correct, ed5, bishop d2. Yeah, h6 immediately, but bishop d6, bishop e2, and now h6. Now black is even more comfortable in the position. Knight h4 now is just a mistake. Yeah, this is more than -1. Bishop h7, knight f3. Knight bd7 was correct, waiting move, castles, queen b3. Rook b8 is correct. I'm surprised to see that. I thought that this was a passive move, but yeah, it was the best move. Rook ac1, knight e4, correct. Rook fd1, knight df6. I played a good game. He took, and I took with the pawn. Why is that a mistake? It's not actually, it's fine. But knight e5, queen e7, knight c4, knight d5. And now it's equal after I give up the bishop. So, but I'm still playing against this bad piece. Bishop c4, rook fd8, a3, bishop f5, correct. bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, queen c2, bishop e6, queen c5. It's a boring game. a6, queen takes, rook takes, rook d5 is a mistake, but it's not a big deal. Rook takes, bishop takes, h4, f5, f5. Why is f5 a mistake? I mean, rook c1, king f7, bishop d6, rook h8, b4, g5, h5. I just want to see if I was winning at any point. This all seems to be equal. Even when I won a pawn, it's not even -1. So yeah, now it's all zeros. Let's see if my plan with creating a passed pawn worked. Yeah, apparently. Wait. So now after here, apparently I'm winning. Ah, okay, h3 was the mistake. How can I win the pawn? I don't understand this. Okay, he can never attack here. He would have to go around like this, and he doesn't have time. So here, here, blocking the pawn, correct? Here, here. Okay, here. Yeah, okay, now I found a weird win, but why would... Oh, okay, his king has to stay around here because of the pawns. So, okay, let's say here, 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 king here, king here, king here. Yeah, apparently I can just march up the board and pick up the pawns. But what if he plays here? Trying to defend. Yeah, then I still get to win. Oh, I'm an idiot. I could have won a3. Yeah, but after h3 it was all drawing. Yeah, I rushed this. I mean, after d takes e7, h3 was just a bad move. I should have seen this. This easy 8-move plan, but it was easy to see. I should have seen that I can attack a3. So yeah, I had a win there, but... made a mistake. I neglected the fact that he can never move the king from here because I can simply play h3 and push through my pawn. Still, I'm not too unhappy with the game. This is actually a valuable lesson to look at the other side of the board as well in the endgame. So a mistake which cost me half a point, but yeah, what can you do? Thanks very much for watching. Once again, thanks very much for the support and the comments. The last training game is coming tomorrow, and on Wednesday I'm traveling to the tournament. So yeah, thanks very much. I'm off to do some reading now, preparing some more, looking at the opponents, and basically studying chess. Thanks very much. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.